Hey everyone, it's Uncle Dan from Uncle Dan Fatherhood. Yesterday I did an interview with Cody. He's a dad, and he has a son that is 3 years old, and they are trying to get to 50 states before he's 18, their son. And we got to talking about a lot of cool stuff on this interview. And hopefully you like it, so check it out. A little bit about your story and that so then maybe I'll get a little bit more.
Yeah, he just wasn't really there. In and out of our lives. He'd disappear and things like that. So, and obviously some other stuff that I don't really want to talk about, but
That's fine.
just for the most part, he basically I kind of got the blueprints from both sides. A good dad and a bad dad. So it made it. I just wanted to make sure that when I got the opportunity that I learned from both sides and was able to, kind of do the right thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm retired Army, so I'm in a unique situation where I don't really have to work. So I made the decision to basically, dedicate all of my time to making sure that I do this the right way.
Well, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
what kind of army base were you in before?
I was an infantryman, and I was stationed in Colorado and Washington, and I deployed to Iraq.
How old is your son?
He just turned 3 at the end of May.
What's a day in the life as a dad for you now?
A day in the life, yeah. So we travel full time. So a day in the life for me is basically trying to do all the normal things that a kid that lives in a house would get to experience. Brushing your teeth and learning how to all the basic skills while also making sure that we're like right now we're in Cape Cod. So we spent all day in Martha's Vineyard, and we drove around and took them to the beach. So it's kind of traveling full time. We like to learn through experience. That's kind of our big thing, is rather than spending a bunch of time reading books, we go out and we experience things, and we go on hikes and we read all the plaques at national parks and at zoos and museums. And so, I mean, the day in the life would just be trying to get him as much experience as possible every single day.
What kind of things have you did at Martha's Vineyard? I mean I've been to Martha's Vineyard when I was little as well, but
Yeah, we mainly it was kind of just a relaxing day. We rented bikes, and we knew we wanted to spend time at the beach. We haven't spent much time at the beach here. We spent a lot of time in Boston, and we've had some bad weather, so we knew the weather was going to be good. So we spent time at the beach, and we wanted to check out some lighthouses and just kind of cruise around. So we got out on some bikes and cruised around the island. I think we ended up doing maybe 12 miles on the bikes today, and we spent some time at the beach, and we went to some lighthouses, and that's about it. Just rode the ferry. It was actually kind of just a nice, relaxing day.
does he like to be out and about, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much we hike. That's kind of what our main thing is. And right now we're on the East Coast, so we've been kind of doing cities lately, and so we haven't really gone hiking in about 3 weeks. But he really wants to be outside. We're usually hiking or walking around cities, or we don't really spend too much time inside.
Did you do like doing traveling mostly? Were you like based or somewhere else before going starting your traveling?
Yeah, we've been on the road full time for 2 years. Before that, we were in Arizona, just doing like normal house. We had a house, and we would go travel on the weekends, or stuff like that. But yeah, now we're full time. I mean, we move about every 4 to 5 days, and we don't really have, like, right now we don't really have a plan or a schedule. We know we have to be. We're going to Florida. We have to be there by the end of December because we're going to go to the Caribbean. But other than that, we're trying to hit all 50 states and all 63 national parks, and so we just kind of bounce around and do whatever we want, really.
Well, that's kind of nice though, to
Yeah,
get to see the
it's really
world
nice.
with your kid.
Yeah, yeah, and we really gear everything towards him. How can he learn? How can he experience different things? Like I said, lots of time in national parks, lots of times at kids museums, and really just spending time out amongst people and things, and just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah. Um, what was it? Is he potty trained?
So we decided to try something. So I read a lot of books about children and methods and how to do different things. And
Yeah.
we really like him to do and figure things out on his own. And so we give him all the tools to potty train.
Yeah.
But like a normal family in a normal situation, you kind of have that week where we're potty training him this week. I don't care what happens. He's going to run around the house naked, and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
We basically give him all the tools, and we've been trying to get him to do it on his own. I will tell you, it's been very frustrating, but it is coming along. There's mornings he'll wake up and tell me he wants to sit on the potty, so we'll sit on the potty. There's days where he's like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So even me, I'm starting to struggle with, should I just clamp down and do it? But I feel like we're so invested into it now that I'm just going to keep riding it out. And plus, we live such a unique life that it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to set aside a week because we're always somewhere new. There's always something to do. So usually when we're at home in the trailer, we will, he'll be in underwear.
Mm-hmm.
But we're kind of just letting him figure it out on his own. So no, he's not potty. He's potty trained when he wants to be. When he feels like doing it, he can do it. But it kind of just depends on whenever he wants to do it. So I'd have to get back to you on how that one's going to work out.
Well, you should also try Sposy booster pads. Those really help too.
What are they?
They're called Sposy booster pads, so they go in the diaper or pull up, and it helps stop the leaks. And it's like the perfect thing. It's like very popular.
Nice.
So you should check that out. I can send you the link to it if you want me to.
Yeah, please do.
Let's see what on here. Is he a picky eater at all?
So that's probably, I'd say, the biggest issue we're dealing with. He used to eat everything, and he mainly wanted to eat vegetables. So for maybe the first year and a half of his life, we kind of had it on easy street. He wanted to eat really, really healthy. We eat really healthy, and obviously traveling around in a trailer, it's very easy to control what we eat. But then he found out about pizza and chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
And pizza and chicken nuggets taste a lot better than his vegetables. So he's not necessarily a picky eater, but he's kind of heading down the direction of like a normal kid, where he'd rather have those things than other stuff. But he's getting there.
Well, now you can like put stuff in and like mix it up somehow, I guess.
Yeah. We found that giving him little incentives sometimes will get him to try different. Like today, he tried French toast for the first time, and he didn't really want it. And I just kind of said, hey, if you don't like it, we'll get you waffles. And he said, "Oh, okay." And he tried it, and then obviously French toast is amazing, so he ate all the French toast and didn't want the waffles. But so we've been trying, stuff like that. But he is getting more picky. He has his little routine and the things that he likes, and he doesn't like to stray too far from it.
Do you struggle in anything as a parent?
I think the biggest thing I struggle with is just the fact that our life is very unique, and there's not really a guidebook to it. So you're dealing with all the normal problems that a parent would have with a kid, in just a really, really unique situation. Like he's 3, so he's starting to get into the whiny stage and I'm going to scream for no reason. Well, we travel the country in an Airstream, and we're always, in RV parks and things like that. And so it can get hard because you're not trying to, have the neighbors wonder why this kid is screaming bloody murder. I don't know that I struggle. I have really good patience with him and all those things. It's just there's very unique challenges to the lifestyle we live in. Like I said, there's no guidebook. There's no one you can call and say, hey, how did you handle your toddler in 100 square feet, in an RV park? So it's more just a constant learning process, and just a really interesting, unique lifestyle.
Do you guys have a favorite place to go? Like when you're going traveling to different cities, do you find different places you want to um go to?
We really like being out in the woods. I mean, my son really, really likes hike. We hike a lot. I mean, he really, really likes being out in the woods. And I'd say, maybe like the beach. Um, but we do try to just guide him towards a lot of educational stuff. So like kids museums and things like that. So I would say those are our favorite, just because it's very easy to provide him with the educational content, without having to really go searching for it.
Is it? Do you think he'll ever go to school? Like,
No, I don't.
so you'll be
It's not.
mostly
Yeah.
maybe traveling for the rest of your
Yeah.
life.
We already home. I mean, I've already been homeschooling him. He does. I mean, basically everything that we do is we try to make it educational. So, all of his books, we read. I read to him multiple times a day. All of his books are educational. We do read. We just started reading Harry Potter, so we started reading like his first chapter book. Um, and I mean, since he was basically about 8, 9 months old, I mean, we created a book that has all of his letters, has all of his numbers. He can count. He's been able to do his ABC since he was 1. He's been, he can count to 30. He can do all these different things. So we have been he's basically in school every single day. He makes his own bed. He puts his own bed away. He helps with dinner. He helps with dishes. We try to, basically, the goal is to turn him into a functioning adult. And we work at doing those things every single day. So I don't think he'll ever step foot in a classroom until he decides he wants to go to college.
That's different.
Yeah. And we do, like, he has, I don't know if you've ever heard of like ABC Mouse, that kind of
Yeah,
follows,
yeah.
a little bit of a curriculum. So he does, we try to get him, my goal is about 30 minutes a day. It doesn't always work out because he'd rather be doing things, but he's really big into Lingo Kids and ABC Mouse. So he does do that, and we do, do a lot of normal things that a 3-year-old or a pre-K or a kindergartner would do: coloring and scissors and, all that kind of stuff. But we really kind of believe in just learning by doing. You can teach a kid about the ocean in a book, but it's a little bit easier to teach them about the ocean at the ocean.
Does he? Do you have other books you like to read him?
So yeah, he right now he's there's these Cat in the Hat books, and I don't remember what the exact name is. They're not the little kid books. It's like the in between books, and everything is it's very like one's a beach book, and the whole entire book is about different animals and different what the sand is and what the water is and why the water's blue and all these things. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, just because it's pretty easy. You know, he we take him to Barnes and Noble and we let him pick new ones out. And like I said, right now we finally have got him to where he can sit down at night and he can put up with me reading him like a whole chapter of Harry Potter. But mainly it's just, like I said, it's always about trying to find our idea is kind of almost tricking him into learning, making he doesn't think he's learning, he just thinks we're reading him a book, but he's actually learning.
Well, that's good. That,
Yeah. Even
um,
like when we go to national parks, if they have like the placards that explain what something is, or if you go to like a museum and there's a placard that explains what it is, we read every single one. And the idea behind it is that as he gets older, it's all he knows. You go to the museum, you stop at the thing, there's a placard, you read the placard, you learn about what it is, and you move on to the next one. So even though it's not something that I necessarily want to be doing all the time, it was kind of just the idea that you're setting the standard for something that he's going to do the rest of his life. And just the idea is basically just to make every day I'm going to learn as much as I can from everything that I do.
do you? So you were saying that you do you? Is there another that person that lives with you too?
So my wife has some ongoing medical conditions, so she spends the majority of her time in at our home, or our normal home, I guess.
Uh huh.
And then she flies out here a lot, so she'll meet up with us on the road, and then she'll go home for a while and knock out her appointments and stuff, and then she comes back. So it's not a permanent solution, but it is something we're dealing with currently.
Well, that's kind of cool that you can do that. I mean, have
Yeah, we just we made the realization that you know we think that this lifestyle is going to be extremely beneficial for our son, and that it's something that we wanted to do, and we just said we're going to do it regardless of what the obstacles are. So it's worked out so far.
do you have a favorite place to go when you travel to different places? Then besides of your son, do you have
Honestly, it's
any?
hard. We really like to, when we started, we knew we were going to go to all the major cities, right? Because we're trying to do all 50 states and all the national parks. But I enjoy hiking, and we have before we ever RV'd, we camped a lot, and we overlanded, and we were always outdoors and hunted and everything like that. So I knew when we started the trip, I figured I was going to spend like 90% of my time in the woods, and then we were going to occasionally go to cities. But what we've realized is, like, all these cities offer something. All these small towns have something to offer. So honestly, we've really kind of just like transformed into these just legitimate travelers. Like, we kind of want to do it all. My happy place would definitely be, I would rather be in the woods, like hiking. And spending time with my son. But we spent 4 or 5 days in Boston over the last like 6 or 7 days, and I mean it was awesome. Probably my favorite city I've been to so far. And so we honestly enjoy it all. Yes, I don't. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we kind of enjoy it all, but I would rather be in the woods.
Is it hard trying to find places to eat at when you're traveling so
Um,
much?
no, But I would say the hardest part is you start to realize, I don't like to waste money. My dad taught me how to cook really well. Cooking is something that's very important to us. And so what we've struggled with is, I don't want to eat out, just eat out. I
Yeah.
want to eat out if it's good. If I'm in Maine and I'm going to go to a lobster place, then, that's great. But I don't want to just eat out to eat out. So that's what's been hard is, I would say that food, I know you're from Kansas City, so
Yeah, we do have
what,
some good barbecue.
exactly. So it's like, if you're from Kansas City and you have really good barbecue, what you're going to find is unless you're in Oklahoma or Texas or somewhere that has really good barbecue, the barbecue you're going to eat just really isn't going to match up. So what we tend to do is we go to restaurants that people say you should go to. If
Yeah.
you're in Santa Fe, New Mexico, you eat, you eat New Mexican food. If you're in New Orleans, you eat Cajun food or Creole food. So we try to eat what you're supposed to eat, and then we really kind of try to just cook our own food and eat really healthy. That's definitely been something we've struggled with. It's just the food is not the same everywhere you go. We're out on the East Coast right now. I like spicy food. The food out here just isn't spicy. It's just not. They don't eat spicy food like that. So it's definitely tough. You kind of just got to temper yourself and realize that don't waste the money eating food that's just not going to be what you expect it to be.
Yeah, I mean, I have family in the East Coast. I used to live in the East Coast as well, but I don't know about the spiciness of food there, but it's mostly like the bagels are mostly the popular thing.
Yeah, and pizza. Pizza,
Yeah,
I've had really good pizza since getting out here. That's for sure.
but I mean it's also they have water too, so I mean that's
Yeah,
mostly the popular thing too to go to the beach
for
or
sure.
or I don't know what else to say about the East Coast. Um, um, do you have any tips for other parents if you, that what you're dealing with that what you're trying to find from other parents?
Any tips? I mean, my thing that I tell a lot of people is just to. I think that this is a learning experience for parents. I kind of look. I think a lot of parents just they don't want to learn. They just they take advice from their parents, which is fine, right? They've obviously had kids.
Yeah,
I read a lot and I research a lot. I basically treat it like it's a never-ending project. A lot of the books I read, you don't take very much from them because maybe it's not something that you want to do. But I always just kind of tell people to look at it like it's a never-ending project. Have patience and be willing to constantly learn. I think that there's a lot of good people with a lot of really, really good ideas, and maybe they will or won't work for you. But just because they don't doesn't mean you shouldn't try it or maybe, take something from it and continue to try to get better. I mean, I try to be a better dad every single day. I'm constantly reading books about parenting or the psychology of parenting or whatever it is. So, I mean, that's what I would tell anyone is that if you really want to be good at this, treat it like it's something that you can get better at because you can. And I also just wouldn't, it's like the potty training thing. I can't tell you how many people have been like, oh, he's 3 and he's not potty trained. And it's like, oh, I mean, I get it, but, we're trying something different. So, do what's important to you.
yeah.
If you want to do something differently, then do it and stick to your guns and don't fall to peer pressure just because someone else is doing this or their kid's doing this or that. I guess that'd probably be it.
I mean, I do a lot of finding a lot of cool things that come to me for the podcast or for the
Yeah,
community. I mean, I find I'm a part of. I promote diapers. I also promote those
nice.
booster pads as well. That also helps grow for some families. Some of them use them. I mean, they get. I also send them to my sister because she has a daughter that's in diapers, and also I have two nephews So I mean, I mostly give them. I also have friends that have kids as well, so I kind of tell them about it all the stuff as well. So that helps too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I would think it's hard to have your child like it's hard doing the potty training. I bet because
It
there's
is, and they push back a lot. And I think, I know that, like I was saying, a lot of parents, I think, feel pressure because, their friend who has a kid that's the same age just potty train their kid. Um, but we've noticed with our son when we'd have like a week off, where we were at a place we'd already been, but it just worked out and we had a week. So I was like, oh, let's try to potty train him. And they just dig their heels in and they don't want to do it. And I just kind of came up to the conclusion that, I think kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. And I think that if you give them the tools and you show them the right way and you have patience with them, when they decide they're ready to do it, they're going to do it. I mean, you get a lot of people where it's like, okay, so say my son was potty trained, but we're going to go out for a whole day on Martha's Vineyard. Well, I can't have him be in underwear.
Yeah.
Because the reality is what am I doing? Am I buying him clothes? Am I bringing extra clothes? Like, what am I going to do when he pees through his clothes? Because they're going to. So the reality is you're going to put him in a pull-up all day, which is basically a diaper. So it's like, you want him to be potty trained so bad, but we're starting to get to the point where, like, he can hold his bladder for a very long time. So whenever he's ready to finally make the switch, we're hoping that what's going to happen is that because he has the skills of holding his bladder, because he has the skills of telling you when he has to go to the bathroom, because he's building all those skills while we're not forcing him to potty train, that when he goes, you know what, like, I'd rather just sit on the toilet. I don't want to sit in my, diaper anymore.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a way easier process on the back end. And like I said, is this going to work that smoothly? I don't have that answer yet, but we figured we would give it, we don't feel any pressure from anybody because usually it's just me and him or me, him and my wife. So I don't really have any of that pressure. So we felt like it could be a very good, I believe in giving him the opportunity to, like, be proud of himself, to accomplish things for himself. And I think that this could be a pretty big milestone that he made the decision that I was going to do this, and we just gave him the tools, and he's going to do it one day.
So does he go pee and poop it, or just go the pee and just in the?
It's pretty random, man. I mean, like I said, there's days where, like, he'll go on the potty the whole entire day. And then there's days where he wants nothing to do with it. And honestly, it gets frustrating because I'm like, man, you used the toilet all day yesterday. But for whatever reason, it's Wednesday, and on Wednesday he doesn't want to do it. So, we've gotten him all, he wants a Paw Patrol potty, so we got him a Paw Patrol potty. He doesn't want to, he told us he doesn't like missing out. He doesn't like sitting in the bathroom because he feels like he's missing out. So we wanted to get, like, one of the other potties, so we bought him one of the other potties. So we've just, we're kind of letting him guide himself, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I guess what he'll figure out what he wants to do.
For sure. I mean, I would assume at some point, right? I mean, he's going to go, why am I doing this when I could just do that and be done with it? I mean, it's not like I'm not worried about him being 18 and wearing diapers. I mean, it's I think he'll figure it. He's going to figure it out soon.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little man, so he'll be little for that long, but
for sure.
But hopefully he'll find out that I don't want to be wearing diapers for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, even today, he went pee in his diaper and said, can you change my diaper because it's wet? Like, you can tell he doesn't want to be in it. So, it's progressively heading in the right direction. So, hopefully it all pays off, and we're out of it soon, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, I bet you'll be happy, and his mom will be happy as well.
For sure. For sure.
Maybe take him to somewhere that be for like a something that for like a maybe like a special day to have him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have nieces and nephews?
I do. I have one niece and one nephew.
Do you guys travel to see them that often?
It's kind of hard, when we're in my nephew lives in Texas, my niece lives in California. Currently, we're on the East Coast. So one of the downfalls of the RV life, the Airstream life, is that usually someone's kind of got to be with the trailer. So, and I also have my son, so it's not very easy for us to get out. So, obviously we've kind of got like an open door policy, and people can come visit us and spend time with us, but unfortunately the life that we live is very it's not very conducive to visiting people.
Oh.
It's definitely one of the drawbacks, but we think the experience that he's kind of receiving, is worth that negative.
Mostly, those are all the questions I had for you.
Cool.
If you have any other questions you want to ask me, that's fine.
Yeah, like what made you want to do this?
I started Uncles and Fatherhood when I was in college. That's when I became an uncle. And I was looking online just to see if there was any blogs for uncles to start, like new becoming uncles or something. Yeah. And there was none, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I should start a podcast about just learning from fathers and uncles and trying to about fatherhood and unclehood, and then I kind of noticed that there was not a lot of uncles and fatherhoods out there, on social media, or just none of my friends when I was in college had nephews or stuff. So I kind of said, I guess I'll start something and see how it goes.
Nice.
I mean, I also did radio in college and
cool.
and all other podcasts, but I mean, I do a lot of things besides my podcasting and talking to dads and random book authors and mindset coaches that I interview on the podcast that are dads or or grandfathers or whatever. So
nice. Yeah, I have a blog coming out soon. It's been in the works. We're just, kind of fine-tuning things before we get it all set up. But it'll mainly be about world schooling, kind of what we're doing, where you basically, use the world as the education rather than, mainly books and things like that. So I'll definitely shoot you that once we get it out.
Okay, that's cool. I'll be really interested to look at that.
Yeah. Just been kind of hesitant to put it, how much content do you put on it before you release it, things like that. But it's I think we're about ready to launch it. So
I also have my own cookie business. So I've been doing from when I was in college, and I brought it back for Kansas City with me.
Nice, that's cool.
It's just something to do and try to make money out of it. But
yeah.
But it's sometimes it's tough trying to get orders in and stuff. But it's it's something to do, because I mean, I'm very talented in different ways, and I just like to put myself out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But well, it was good chatting with you. Thank you for doing this interview with me.
Absolutely, thank you for doing it.
But if you would ever want to come back, just let me know. I would love to do more talking with you and.
Sure. As long as I have service. Luckily, we're in a, recently we've had some good service, but it doesn't always work out. But I would be more than happy to do it again. That would be awesome.
Okay, cool. I'll let you know when this is up. It might be up tomorrow or later tonight or something.
Okay, cool.
And maybe you can share it on your Instagram or.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tag you in the post or send you a link or all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And talk to you later.
All right, thank you so much and have a great night.
You too.